You know, an analogy I've always thought about as far as the power of the subconscious mind, I thought, well, suppose that somebody got a brand new car and it's now parked in their driveway. And they go out there and they get in the car and they honk the horn and they roll the windows up and down and they turn the steering wheel, then they get it back out and they go back in the house. They didn't even know how to turn the engine on or go anywhere. You know, it's like, I think the subconscious mind is a little bit like that. If we know how to use it, it can be used to our advantage, but if we don't, it's just this huge engine sitting there that we don't have access to.
Well, it is, and in your analogy, it would actually drive you somewhere, but it wouldn't necessarily drive you where you wanted to go. So the subconscious actually does everything it needs to do. Everything that has, you know, the subconscious has two prime directives, so it will follow those prime directives. One is to keep you safe, and the other one is to give you pleasure. Of course, first is safety and then is pleasure. But it learns that very early on. Your subconscious is active even in the womb. Even in the womb, you're picking up emotions from your mother. You're listening in to what's going on around. You cannot consciously decipher, well, is that now my emotion? Is it somebody else's emotion? You cannot really understand all those things intellectually. So your subconscious just takes it on, puts it into the memory box, and makes somehow sense out of it. And this is where those programs, those beliefs are coming from. So let's say you are believing that the world is not safe. Your subconscious is in the background looking for potential danger, even when you're an adult and you feel like, well, I have proven many of times that I'm safe. Your subconscious will somehow still believe, well, at some point the shoe gonna drop. And that's where the subconscious needs to be worked with. In some ways, it's like an ally. It's like a servant who hasn't been really instructed on what you need right now and is still doing all these tasks that it has been doing for a long time.
How many times have we seen somebody that was just, they were just sure that their boss was out to get them? You know, it's like, and sure enough, their boss was out to get them, you know, and then they go to another job and that boss is out to get them too. And the next job they go to, that boss is out to get them too. It's like these fears that we have, somehow we project them out and they just come back at us. It's like they create the world for us.
Well, and the interesting thing is that we are often not really aware of it, that this is a belief. So often people actually believe that's reality. So, you know, like in your example, and I have often people that tell me, you know, I don't have really limiting beliefs, I just know that I will never be successful. And so that's just the reality for them. But sometimes we are also trying to override the subconscious without even knowing that we are doing it. And one example is a person I worked with who was going through a really hard time when she grew up. She had very violent environment, was abused and beaten, and certainly had imprinted in her subconscious mind, I'm not safe and I have to watch out to when somebody gonna again attack me or do me any harm. But she also had a very free spirit. She had a side of her just that wanted to go out, have adventures, explore the world, and that's what she did as soon as she could. With 16, 17, she left home and traveled around the world and did that with great success. Somehow she always found the right people to connect to and just enjoyed her life until in her 20s she got into a situation where she got kidnapped, where she almost got killed, where she almost really, you know, basically had the end of her life facing. She got out of it, and then she got sick. She got sick for a whole year, bound to bed, not able to move, not able to really do anything, and nobody could really explain why she had no energy, what was really going on. And so later on when we worked together, she realized that there was a part of her subconscious, that anxious side of her, that had the belief I'm not safe, was watching her and allowing her to override that belief for a while and go out into the world. But then when there was actually something happening that confirmed the old belief, that part of her subconscious jumped in and said, no, okay, I'm gonna pull the brakes. I'm gonna watch over you because I'm your protector. and I'm going to keep you now bound to bed because otherwise you only do something crazy and put yourself into danger. That's the power of the subconscious mind. And even though this may be an extreme case, many people will realize, well, there is still something in my subconscious that limits me and holds me back based upon experiences that are not really relevant now anymore, but they are still echoing from the past.